Good evening. Hello, hello. As you join us, let me know how you are. And I hope that you're having a great start to the week. There's a reason that I have scheduled quite a late impromptu live on a Monday night. And that is because I've had quite an influx of people mentioning anxiety. And when I see this wave coming, I want to jump in and bring it right back to basics, because I'm finding myself saying a lot of the same stuff, a lot of the same recommendations. So what I think I might do is spend this week's doing like a back to basics. When we go back to basics, what I mean by that in the Awaken the Warrior group, or if you're watching this back on YouTube or Instagram, is understanding the fundamentals of how your mind works, of how your thoughts affect everything. They impact your emotions, they impact your behaviors, your outcome in life. And the reason that it's so important to educate yourself on this is you go from being at effect, meaning I have anxiety or my anxiety or I feel overwhelmed or I don't know what I'm doing or how I'm feeling, to actually understanding it. And that moves you from just being, let's just call it victim to your circumstances, to back in the cause, or at least control. An understanding of what's going on. And when you're in that place, when you've recognized that it doesn't serve you to be here, it doesn't serve you to be going like, why me? I'm out of control, I can't change anything, it sucks. And actually taking a step back and going, hang on, when I'm here, even if it still sucks, even if it's incredibly uncomfortable and the anxiety is real, when you take ownership of it, that is where you begin to feel empowered again and back in control. So I'm going to get a bit arty. Hi, Katie. Katie, I never call you Katie. Hi, Kate. I hope you're well. So let me know if this is backwards. Does that show backwards when you see it? I think it does. Kate, can you just say yes or no if you can see that? I know that there's a way you can change it so that there's like a, or whoever's watching it back, I just want to make sure. If so, I'll just do, I'll wait and see. So it's backwards. Yeah, I thought it would be. So let's do it this way. Your emotions and feelings, that impacts your behaviors, and back up. So in a nutshell, we have your thoughts. Every single thought that you have instantly triggers a emotion or a feeling. Instantly. And once you have that feeling or an emotion within, that then impacts your behaviors. And your behaviors then impact your thoughts. I'll give you the quickest example of this, and I'm actually going to add in a little fourth step. Hello, I can see lots of you joining. Say a big hi. So whatever your thought is, let's say you wake up in the morning and you're like, great, it's Monday. I know I've got that meeting. I haven't prepared for it. I don't know when I'm going to have my notice in, but I'm feeling really down about it. I'm stressed. That guy or girl in the office, if the thoughts are all consuming, negative, what ifs, how are you going to be feeling? When you're stepping into the shower, when you're boiling that kettle, how are you going to be feeling? No doubt anxious, stressed, overwhelmed, all of those antsy feelings. For some, it might be depression, but anxiety, let's kind of like lead with that one. Hi, Danielle. When you are feeling those emotions and feelings, how does that impact your behaviors? When you are feeling jittery in a morning with anxiety, let's say for those who struggle with this, what are your behaviors like? Are they smooth? Are they on point? Do you feel like the day is already running great? Are you behaving like you would like? Or are you forgetting things? Are you putting stuff down and then wondering where that is? Are you tripping up over things? Are you shouting at maybe a spouse or a loved one, kids? And then when you're in that and you're like, get out the way to the dog, what are your thoughts? Great, the day started like this. If it started like this, like, where's it going to go from here? And then when you're in that mode, how are you then feeling? You're feeling guilty for kicking the dog, for screaming at the kids, kicking the husband or wife. And then when you're feeling guilt, how are you then going to behave? You might get emotional, you might show signs of emotion. And then on the way to work, you're thinking, great, I'm stuck in traffic. When you are thinking about traffic, you are then focusing and feeling stress. What if I'm going to be late? Then your behavior is you're speeding, you're and so on and so forth. And that is why when we say, you know, when people go, I might as well just write the day off. I'm sure if you can resonate with this, have a think back to one of those days when you started it and it just kind of went a bit tits up from there. Then also think to your birthday, okay? Yeah, I'll be totally honest, I've never kicked the dog, and please don't ever let anyone ever kick a dog. I say that, I think I know why that's triggered a thought in my mind. I was carrying one of the boys out of the bath before and I had him here, butt naked, like a freaking jellyfish, and I didn't see Stan, and my leg caught him and it like went into the set of drawers, and then I nearly cried with complete guilt, but for a different reason. So then let's bring it around to if you are on your birthday. That's where I was going. So when you wake up on your birthday, 9 out of 10 times, you feel good. It feels like, okay. So today, no matter what happens, it's probably going to be a good day. You have a set expectation. You set the intention on days like that to have a good day. And then how does that affect your thoughts and your feelings? You tend to be a little bit more relaxed, tend to be a little bit more playful, tend to be a little bit more kind to yourself or somebody else. What are your behaviours like? Can we see how your behaviours then off the back of those feelings and emotions tend to be kinder to self, kinder to others? We might flash and let someone go if you're in the car. You might offer to make someone a cup of tea. The little things, and I'm going right back to basics here. Your thoughts are then, this is a good day. I set the, unbeknown to you on days like that, but like when you have like an extra day off on a Friday or a bank holiday, we set the intention, the thoughts are quite strong around, I want to enjoy this. When it's your standard Monday, we tend to be at effect. We tend to be at the receiving end because we're not aware or conscious or setting the intentions of what we want our thoughts to be. We have on average, do you know how many thoughts we have on average? There's been more studies around this. So I'm going to do the low to sort of medium of what is shown. Between 50,000 to 80,000 thoughts per day. And research has shown that 80% of those on average are habitual. And this is where I'm going to be coming into this more over whenever I do that back to basics thing, whether it's the rest of this week or what. But when we really get to grips with this is where if you find yourself with anxiety and we're just hoping that when we get a new job, things are going to get better, or if we've got negative thoughts or we're berating ourselves, limiting beliefs, etc. If we are just kind of hanging on to when I'm not in this relationship, when I've got the pay rise, when the kids go back to school, when this, your thoughts, 80% of those are habitual. So many people come to me and they're like, but I've changed things and I still don't feel happy. My outside Instagram life looks freaking incredible, but I'm not happy. And it's because we end up hardwired into thinking the same specific patterns over and over again. And our mind is there, our brains are protective mechanisms. So if we think you have got 80% of those amounts of thoughts going around and around, and if you're used to thinking with the glass half empty, if you're used to putting yourself down every time you look in the mirror, if you are used to claiming my anxiety, it isn't just going to be something outside of yourself that begins to change this figure. So this is where intervention comes in. We need to start first with self-awareness. So if you have been struggling with negative thoughts, anxiety, overwhelm, limiting beliefs, procrastination, lack of motivation, that kind of thing, keep your eyes peeled, because like I said, I'm literally completely impromptu jumping on tonight. I'm gonna do a proper back to basics something and go through these steps to really begin to empower us to take back that control and actually see a way out. And that isn't about quitting negative self-talk or just stopping doing something. The mind doesn't like that. It goes into panic mode. I call it desert mode, where it thinks it's just been dropped into a desert with no water, no food, no connection, and it tries to grab hold of everything to store, like a camel. And when we do that, that's why a lot of people yo-yo in all areas of their life: relationships, dieting, health, job satisfaction. But when we understand and when we have the awareness of these, and we have emotional intelligence, and we understand ourselves on this level, you actually become more in charge of. You begin to really think before you act. You really begin to behave from an empowered place. We're not just driven by the same habitual thoughts day in, day out. Because when people ask me, and this is kind of where it's come from, because I'm not even kidding, I'm talking over 10 people in the last maybe week. So when I see that coming, I'm like, we have to do something. Have literally said, like, what can you recommend? And I can recommend books, I can recommend podcasts, I can always recommend a band. This is one of the biggies when it comes to beginning to change that habitual self-talk. But there's so much when it comes to self-awareness, I can't quite do it justice in a message or in a Facebook post. So if this resonates with you, then yeah, keep your eyes peeled, and I'm going to commit to doing this. Because the last little bit that I'm going to add on for anyone that is interested in this is, I'm just going to draw that around there. And what this signifies is your electromagnetic field. So I've been doing a lot of work in the background around quantum physics, quantum linguistics, energy fields, which basically in our every day and age is law of attraction and manifestation. But on a science level, not just let's like sit at home and like visualize and do that. Like, that's a key part of it, but there's so much more behind this piece. People think that if they think affirmations, if they think, I'm going to try and do it the right way, no, positively, then everything else all just comes into place and we can magic things in. But if we are thinking, I am going to set up my own business, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to start earning 10 grand months, and this here, our emotions and our feelings go, oh, who am I? Who am I to do that? I could never do that. I'd be the first of the family to do that. And if that then triggers a feeling of not being enough, a feeling of fear, a feeling of how would I be able to manage that, you could be doing all the work. And I mean like grafting, I mean like meditating, doing like however many calls, branding, investing in yourself. And this bit here won't be magnetizing in. You will not be in alignment with what you truly desire. And it will feel like it ebbs and flows. That's where, again, we see the yo-yo. And there's like a huge missing link between mental health and spiritual health, and having an awareness of the impact, not just on the thinking scale of how our thoughts impact our emotions, but actually the impact it has on your entire life. What you've got in your life right now, whether it's you'd class it as amazing, whether you class it as like it's not fair, whether you class it as it's I want to change it. The moment you can take a step back, this is where the spiritual side comes, and know that it's whatever's happening is for the greater good for you, that's when you can start to trust the process. That's when you can go, even though I'm thinking these things, I'm going to start to practice focusing on this as well. So I may bring a bit more of an element of this in as well with the law of attraction stuff, because I think that is really appealing to the mind as well, when you actually recognize that not only can you begin to change your thoughts, but when you do, also begins to change your, what I would call your alignment set point. Like your ability to be a magnet for more of what you do want rather than what you don't want. So your alignment set point, and I'm going to be talking no doubt about the alignment ladder as well. I talk about that in private sessions, and that brings some of that juicy stuff in. I thought they were snakes. They do look like snakes, like, let's be honest. Or little emotional and feeling sperm, I don't know. we can all use our imagination. But yes, leave this with me. But if this is you, drop a comment below, let me know, and we can begin to bust through this together. Once we got the foundations in, that's when you can build sustainable growth. That is where you can really begin to propel yourself forward. So I fully know that my dinner is in the oven. I'm really hoping Carl's taken it out. So I was like, I'll be back in 5. Carly, hello, my darling. You're very, very welcome. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you very soon.